Are you thinking of buying a home in Tampa Bay, Florida, but you're unsure whether now is the time to do it or if it's better to wait until 2026? Well, we're going to break down for you today the conditions of the market and explain the pros and cons of buying in 2025 versus waiting until 2026. And the answer is not going to be the same for everybody. So be sure to grab your notepad, grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's dive in and start talking about it. Okay guys, so before we start this video, I just want to make sure I frame it the correct way so that you know the information is coming from someone with some experience. Now, I didn't just get my license yesterday. I've been selling homes in the Tampa Bay area for 20 years now, and I help hundreds of families every single year, just like you, make the move. So I do have some experience behind what I'm talking about right here. All of that to say, I hope you enjoy this information, and whether you're 9 days away or 99 days away, please be sure to reach out to us if you have any questions. Don't sit there and stew on it and talk yourself out of doing something that might be beneficial for you. We can answer any questions that you might have. We're real estate nerds on this team. You can reach us at the phone number below here. You can call us and text us on that number, or you can email us in the information below. You can set up a Zoom call. Just send out the smoke signal and we'll be there to help you. So first of all, let's talk about the reasons why it might be beneficial to buy a home in 2025 as opposed to waiting until 2026. Now, reason number one is that homes in general are more affordable in 2025 than they were in 2024. 2024 numbers are just in for the market, and in most markets, home prices actually went down in Florida. In fact, I just read something the other day that said in 66% of markets in Florida, prices are still going down. And year over year for 2024 in the Tampa Bay market, home prices were down about 2.1%. Now, while that might not sound like much, and it sounds like it wouldn't make much of a difference, at a time where affordability is stretched, every single little thing helps. So when home prices are decreasing, the market gets more affordable for people. You can buy more home for the same amount of money. And for people who have been waiting for prices to come down, we're starting to see that trend, although we might not have much further to go. So now might be a great time for you to take advantage of the conditions. Prices might not be as low as they are this year for quite some time to come. This is really the first time in the last 6 or 7 years that we've seen any fluctuation going down in home pricing on any sort of considerable level. And most of the estimates that we're seeing already for 2026 are saying that the prices are expected to go back up next year. So if you want to take advantage of the best potential pricing, 2025 might be the year for you. Now, the second thing to consider is that the days on market for properties is increasing at the moment as well. So about the lowest number I saw was average days on market being about 12 or 13 back in 2021, 2022, where homes were moving very, very quickly and selling for the majority of the time in the first couple of days they were on the market. Two numbers here locally in the market at the moment is that the average days to sell a property is over 60 at the moment. So we've seen that number go up a lot. And the average days on market for homes that are not yet under contract is actually over 100. So what that means is that sellers are getting a little bit antsy, having to wait around longer than they anticipated. And when that happens, there's always going to be people who have life circumstances that dictate they have to move quickly. Maybe they need to be somewhere new for a school year to start. Maybe they have a new job in Texas that starts on May the 1st, and they're going to do pretty much whatever it takes to sell their home at that point. So there's real areas of the market where you can take advantage of the conditions being a buyer. If you see homes that are on the market for 100-day plus, they're really likely to be open to some pretty significant price reductions. And we've had several circumstances on the team where we've been able to get 3, 4, even 6% of the purchase price back in closing cost credits for the buyer to be able to buy down their interest rate or to pay for their closing costs. So take advantage of the increasing days on market, look for properties that have been on the market for longer, make lower offers on those properties, and you're likely to strike gold at some point and save yourself some considerable money or get your interest rate brought down quite a lot as well. Now, I should also talk about inventory numbers, in other words, the number of homes that are for sale. That's also been steadily increasing and is actually up over 100% over a 4 or 5 year period, but even over the last 12 months, inventory locally in the Spring Hill Brooksville market where I live is up about 22%. So in other words, there's 22% more homes for sale in February of 2025 compared to February of 2024. And that means a couple of things for people. First of all, it means that the conditions are likely to be better for buying. So again, you might remember 4 or 5 years ago when there were barely any homes for sale, people were having to offer over asking price. People were having to waive inspections. People were having to make up differences in short appraisals. And it was really a brutal buyer's market for people who were trying to purchase back then. Now with the increase in inventory, those conditions don't really exist in this market anymore. You can get more favorable terms on your offer, but there's also a lot more inventory or options to choose from. We've already seen a number of people that bought in those 2021, 2022 markets regret the decisions they made because they felt they were being rushed into making a decision and there just weren't any homes to choose from. And so they made some sacrifices that they wouldn't have to make in today's market when choosing a property. So you're likely to be able to find more of the things that are important to you in a property with the number of homes that are for sale now compared to a couple of years ago. And while I'm talking about inventory, I should also talk about the number of new homes on the market. Again, I saw a report the other day saying that there are more new home construction sales for sale at the moment and held in inventory by buyers than any time in recent memory. And what that means is that when builders are holding on to inventory, they typically have more flexibility in their pricing structure to make it more attractive for buyers. So that could mean by reducing prices, or what we've seen more locally here is they're giving more concessions to buyers. So as they hold on to more inventory or they want to sell out the last few homes in a community, they're doing price reductions, but they're also pairing that with interest rate buy downs. I've seen interest rates as low as 4.875. They're also giving closing cost credits as well. I've seen some builders offering $25,000 towards buyers' closing costs. So the incentives that are being offered by new builds at the moment are far and above anything we've seen in any sort of recent times in real estate. So if a new construction is a consideration of yours, understand that 2025 is likely to be the year where you can most take advantage of the credits and concessions that they're offering to you. And if new construction is not a consideration of yours, you might want to give it a second thought and take a look at them. In the Spring Hill, Brooksville, Wesley Chapel area, we're seeing so many builders across so many different price points that the options are huge. And of course, some of the benefits of buying new is one, that the roof, AC, and all of the major structure of the property are brand new. They all likely have warranties as well. And then they're also built to the latest hurricane and energy efficiency standards. So your utility bills and your insurance is likely to be lower on those properties as well. And if you're building custom, or even if you're building semi-custom, you can still choose many or all of your finishes on your property. So saves having to buy that resale and then decide you want to rip out all the flooring or redo the kitchen. You can choose it, have it constructed, and move in with it being totally to your specifications and being 100% ready for you. Now, these credits and concessions are an absolute game changer for some people who wouldn't be able to buy a house at 7.5% interest, but are able to do so at 4.875, 5, 5.25. It's the literal difference between being able to and not being able to. So if you find yourself on that line, or if you just want to take advantage of them, be sure to check out some of our new construction videos. Be sure to reach out to us for some of the best deals that the builders are offering and talk about it a little bit more. We would love to discuss that with you. Now, another reason why you might want to buy in 2025 as opposed to waiting in 2026 is the lack of competition in the marketplace at the moment. The numbers are fresh in for 2024, and it was the lowest number of resales in the US since 1995, some 30 years. So when there's less competition in the marketplace, you're again likely to be able to get better terms and not face so much competition on the hot properties that would have received multiple offers in years gone by. And what's likely to happen is that if prices continue to fall next year, especially if interest rates fall next year, you're going to see more buyers coming back into the marketplace. And more buyers in the marketplace is going to mean hotter competition. What's that likely to do? Well, it's likely to increase the list to sell price ratio, meaning people will be able to get more of their asking price when they're selling their property, and it's likely to drive prices back up higher. So if you want to take advantage of less competition and optimal market conditions, 2025 might be a good year for you to purchase. And then one final reason is kind of simplistic, but it's something that I always say, and it's something that's kind of held true over my 20 years of doing real estate. The best time to buy a house was yesterday. The next best time is today, and the next best time is tomorrow. Over the course of history, owning a home has been one of the best financial things people can do. Home prices generally go up over time, although there are occasionally blips in the market, and the net worth of people who own real estate compared to renting is significantly different. So do not miss an opportunity to get on the ladder. Invest today, start building equity rather than spending money on rent. Just be prepared for some bumps along the way. I've had my own fair share, but if you're in it for the long run, home ownership is one of the best financial decisions you can make. Now, with all of that being said, there are a number of reasons why 2025 might not be the best year for you. And I want to be transparent about that because it's really easy for me to sit here and say, everything's great, everything's roses, rush out and buy a house. But the truth is that for some of you, the timing is not going to be right, and it's going to be better for you guys to wait. So listen in, see if some of this resonates with you, see if you might be one of these people. Now, reason number one why it might be better to wait is that the interest rates are very, very high at the moment compared to where they've been historically over the last 4 or 5 years. I bought my home in 2020 and I have a 2.75% interest rate. Yay me! But the interest rates are not anywhere near that level at the moment. As of today, they're about 6.75. They were just over 7% a week ago. They were up as high as 7.5 just a couple of months ago. And so when you look at that coupled with the way the home prices have increased, it's become really, really unaffordable for people to own a home. And the prediction is that interest rates will go down in 2026, and we should be sat somewhere a year from now where interest rates are probably lower than they are today. So if an interest rate being low is a consideration for you, it's probably going to be more beneficial to wait until 2026 on the understanding that there might be more competition and that you can buy down your interest rate in the interim period if your main focus is on a lower rate. Now, all of that to say, we don't have a crystal ball. So people thought the rates today would be much lower than they are a year ago when they were predicting it. And that's not the case. And so it may be a situation where we're sat a year from now and they don't look any better. But all of the main indicators and all of the main predictors and software indications that we are likely to have lower rates in 2026 than we have in 2025. Next one's a really, really big consideration. Now, I already talked about how home prices have gone down year over year in Florida, and in particular the Tampa Bay market, where they're down about 2.1%. So all of that to say, realize that if you buy a home in 2025, there is a chance that your home value goes down before it goes back up. When you're purchasing in a declining market, it's important that you buy right, because otherwise you may find yourself caught up in a situation where life circumstances happen, you have to turn around and sell the house unexpectedly and quickly, and all of a sudden the house isn't worth what you have into it, and you find yourself in a short sale situation. Declining markets are always tricky markets to negotiate, and that's why we always recommend that people reach out to us with any questions. But like I said, the main focus I want you to have here is that there is a chance that your property value could go down before it goes up if you purchase in 2025. And even if that's only 1 or 2%, that can make a real difference to people. So please give it every consideration, talk to a real estate professional, and get the most sound and solid advice for you. Reason number 3 why it might be a good time to wait is that we are fresh off the back of 2 really bad hurricanes here locally. At the back end of last year, we were absolutely ripped through, and a lot of the coastal areas all the way from Tampa Bay, St. Pete, all the way up through Citrus County were flooded severely and caused huge amounts of damage to a number of properties, not even just on the coast, but inland with flooding of the rivers in certain areas as well. And to be honest with you, the effects of that and what that might look like for home values as well as for homeowners insurance hasn't really played out yet. We could be in a situation where homeowners insurance costs really skyrocket rapidly depending on what happens with the fallout of all of this. And again, that problem could be really, really exaggerated if we have a really bad hurricane season in 2025. So all of that to say, it's not even just the home prices and the interest rate that you need to consider when purchasing a property in the Tampa Bay area. It's the additional fees as well. So of course that's HOA and maybe CDD fees, but it's really homeowners insurance charges, because if they go up 30% next year, all of a sudden, and you're budgeting based on a fixed income that you have, that might put you in a potentially difficult situation. And again, that's something we just don't know at the moment until we see what the fallout of all of this is. I would imagine we're going to see increases in insurance charges, at least on the coastal areas, but I do think Florida in general is probably going to see some adjustment up on that. So take into account those factors, reach out to us for the latest information on those as it happens so you can be kept up to date with the information you need to make the best decision for yourself. Now, another factor you might want to consider is that some people say that prices are artificially high high at the moment and there is a bubble about to burst. Now, while I don't agree with this, my background in the UK was in accounting, so I'm a numbers nerd, there is a possibility of it, right? We don't have that crystal ball. So we could be in a situation a year from now where home prices are down 10 or 15% and you're really regretting your purchase in 2025. Now, like I said, again, I don't put too much stock into this, and you can get information all over the internet. Some of it's whipped up to create hysteria. Some of it's actually very, very well thought out, even if it's a counterpoint to what I believe. Make sure you do your research, understand the market as you see it, and as other people with some intelligence and some experience see it, and make the best decision for yourself. And then finally, the next consideration might be that if market conditions and home sales are similar to what they were this year in 2026, the builders' incentives are actually likely to get even better with time. Now, is that likely to happen? I don't think so, but then a year ago, I wouldn't have said we'd be sat here today with builders offering 4.875% and 6% of purchase price towards closing costs. We're really in unusual times with new builds where they're dominating the market in a lot of areas because of the incentives and flexibility that they have. So could they be offering better deals next year? Yeah, they certainly could be, and it might be worth a consideration for you if you're not in a rush to wait that out and see how that looks, because they do have the most flexibility. And I can tell you that they're not slowing down on their building anytime soon. Pretty much wherever I drive in the Tampa Bay area, there's new communities popping up all over the place. So if you're looking for new builds, there's a chance 2026 might bring better incentives than 2025 brings. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for the pros and cons of buying a home in 2025 versus 2026. I hope you found that balanced and I hope you found that information useful. Now, please be sure to like the video, leave a comment below and let me know what you think about what I'm talking about. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And when do you think the best time might be to buy a home? Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get kept up to date with all the latest videos where we're talking about not only market conditions, we're also doing new home tours and talking about the pros and cons and cost of living in certain areas and comparing areas to one another so we can help you find the best place for your family to live. And be sure to reach out to us again at the contact information, set up a Zoom, call, text, email if you have any questions you think we can help you with, or if you want to take a look at any properties in the Wesley Chapel, Spring Hill, Brooksville, or Tampa Bay area. We would love to help you. Until next time, guys, please stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of our videos. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.